stations. If you encounter any technical issues related to the live show broadcast, please call the Trouble Hotline at 336-464-1806. Mark, 4 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Your time cue will come with 3 minutes until airtime on the Rice Sports Network. Mark, 3 minutes. Mark, 30 seconds. Your next and final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Coming up on 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds stations. Have fun.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Rice Sports Network. On the Rice Sports Network from Learfield, live from Acme Oyster House. Welcome to the Mike Bloomgren Show. Acme Oyster House. Life's more fun with seafood. The Mike Bloomgren Show is brought to you by The Parking Spot. We have airport parking covered. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 716. Lighting up Rice University and Houston for over 100 years. Now, alongside Coach Bloomgren, here's the voice of the Owls, J.P. Heath.
Yes. Welcome back. Victory Monday here at the Mike Bloomgren Show here at Acme Oyster House. It is so great to be back here, especially after that Bayou Bucket win against those Houston Cougars. 43-41 in double overtime. Rice fight never dies. What a game that was. We have a great crew helping us, just getting acquainted with Sydney. She is the one hustling around and helping us, and we have a very good crowd out here tonight, too. Thank y'all. Appreciate you for coming on out here. We got Monday Night Football on the mammoth big screen above us. That's your spot. They got the bar in the corner. I didn't talk about this with the excitement of the opening show last week. The Oyster Bar, the oyster shucking station there. It is great. Outstanding. Char-grilled oysters earlier. Walter and I shared a half dozen char-grilled oysters earlier. I had 5. Walter had 1. But, hey, he's got to learn. We got to fight for our food here. And great grub. I had some grilled shrimp as well. It is, yes, indeedy. Y'all do a great work. We're talking some Rice Owls football. Bayou Bucket win. And this Saturday we'll also talk about the Owls playing Celebrate Houston game against Texas Southern. That's 6 o'clock, ESPN Plus. And your guys here will have the broadcast on the audio side of things, the Varsity Network app, the Rice Owls Game Day app, and riceowls.com. On today's show, we have the one and the only. Sometimes he catches touchdown passes with 2 hands, sometimes with 1. The one and only Luke McCaffrey. I can't face the guy. I try to do different things to face him. I can't do that. Try to make him blush. Wide receiver, boss man, we have Mike Kershaw. Did he slip in? Yeah, there he is right there. Mike, I owed you this. I still owe you. Yeah, it's our own private. I owed him. He got a dinner here, and his wide receiver core will be a focus of talk tonight. I did my push-ups. I'm buff. We got strength coach Hans Straub also here. So we'll do it, okay? Push off. We'll do that. Not really. And then Bloom will come back and we'll preview those Clarence McKinney-led TSU Tigers coming up in just a little bit. But Acme Oyster House, proud supporter here of Rice football and the Mike Bloomgren Show. Here's the Red Beans and Rice University, Acme Oyster House, 1201 Westheimer. Can't miss it. Proud sponsor of our Owls. After the game, you can join us for a fried seafood platter, shrimp po' boy, or a dozen char-grilled oysters. Acme, the best little oyster house in Texas. Every Monday, 7 until 8. Here we talk some Rice Owls football. We'll get back to it coming up next. Dunleavy family head football coach for Rice Owls, Mike Bloomer. He'll join us next year at Acme Oyster House. It's Rice football from Learfield.
At Shoppers, we get all kinds of John Deere tractor questions, like what horsepower tractor do I need? Do I need 4-wheel or 2-wheel drive? What kind of attachments do I need for my John Deere tractor? The Shoppers tractor experts have the answers to all those questions. Or you can go online and create your own John Deere tractor with our Build It, Price It, Own It tool. It'll give you costs along with finance options. You can see all our specials by Googling Shoppers at SHOPPAS. Shoppers, equipment for your piece of Texas, and proud sponsor of Rice Owl Athletics.
Hey, Oscar, wake up. Hi, this is Otis and Oscar, talking spokes oysters for Acme Oyster House. You've probably seen us on TV. My friend Oscar is, sleeping. You know, we oysters like our pets. Anyway, drop by tonight for a dozen raw, a dozen char-grilled, a seafood platter or po' boy, and maybe a few laughs. Come Acme, bro. Not you. Acme Oyster House. Life's more fun with seafood.
Owls fans, you may not think of yourself as an athlete, but everyday life is full of athletic feats. You bend, you reach, you lift, you twist until back, neck, or shoulder pain hits, which brings you to a stop. So whether you're an athlete or not, the Joint Chiropractic can help ease your pain and keep you on the active list. Visit any of our 40-plus Houston area locations or thejoint.com today to get your first consultation, exam, and adjustment for just $29. The Joint Chiropractic, the official chiropractor of Rice University Athletics.
Aw, shucks, the game's on TV, but I can't listen to the call of my favorite team broadcasters.
Never fear, Sync My Game is here.
Sync My Game?
Yes, Sync My Game. If you have a DVR and streaming device, head to syncmygame.com from Learfield. It's never been easier to hear the impassioned voices of your favorite radio crew synced with the TV.
Wow, thank you, Mr.
Just remember, syncmygame.com.
Highlighting the Owls on the gridiron. Welcome back to the Mike Bloomgren Show.
Yes, indeed, we are. Thanks to Clara back at the studio. Thanks to Walter Engineering here, by the way. And round of applause for the On3 National Coach of the Week.
Yeah.
Got to make you blush there.
Yeah. You know what, JP? Like, those awards are awesome because they recognize our coaching staff and our players. They're nothing about a head coach, but I guess if they're going to give it to us and give it to our program, we'll take it.
Yeah, I knew you'd say that. But what did it mean to get the win the way you did it? And it just wasn't any garden variety opponent. It was against a very good program and the team across town.
Yeah, it was very nice to beat them, bring the bucket back where it belongs on Main Street, and a few things like that. I mean, there's so many firsts, you know, when you talk about like not having that thing since 2010, when you talk about not beating a Power 5 opponent since 2013, when you talk about not winning a home game in overtime since 2001. Obviously, a lot of significance around today's date in 2001 that usually you'll bring up, so I'll let you do that if you choose to. But that's a long time ago. I asked Landon Ransom how old he was in 2001. He said he was -4. And so that's a long time ago. But, yeah, just really proud of our ability to finish. I certainly believe we could have made that game a little easier. Certainly the way we started off, I thought we played about as good as we could have for about 26 minutes. And then we did some things that weren't characteristic, and for whatever reason, we kind of let them get on a little bit of a roll. Then you come back out in the third quarter, and you're like, gosh, they're getting a couple first downs, but defense stood up and got that fourth down stop. And so they used 7 minutes and 32 seconds of clock and didn't get any points out of it. So at that time, you know, we've got these great analytics guys now. And I said this in the presser the other day. Dan Gritty comes up to me and he goes, Coach, they have a 1.1% chance to win. And I just looked at him. I was like, please tell me when it's 0. And then, of course, we did the things to almost make that 1.1% chance. You know, you had to turn the ball over. We had to let them score on every drive. And, you know, so we did not play good football in that second half. There's no running from that. And but when it mattered, when all the chips were on the line in overtime, to see our offense go out there and stick the ball in the end zone, make the extra point, and then do it again in the second overtime and get the 2-point conversion. And the way we did it, we talked in pregame about the contrasting styles of these two programs in the city of Houston, one that wants to be physical and play the game the way it's meant to be played, and to move a Big 12 team the way we did in short yards and goal line every single time we got it, all 6 times, we're efficient. We moved them. We got what we needed. That's pretty cool. And then to get the 2-point conversion, and then, okay, they score. They're a good team. They got the ball in the end zone, and they throw a route that they had success on earlier in the game on JoJo Jean, same person. And the receiver has it, and then he doesn't because JoJo finishes the play. Everything we talk about like finishing through, raking the arms down. And when the ball hit the ground, that was a really good moment for the Rice Owls.
And post-game, we've seen the great pick, and Marco had a great meme. I'm not hip and cool. This may surprise you, Coach. I don't know the name of all the memes, but a lot going around there that with the bucket in there, just how pretty was that bucket. I don't know if you're a hockey guy. Did you do anything crazy with that bucket or put any ice
This is a family radio show, okay. JP. We don't need to talk about that. Yeah, I mean, we had the staff over to the house. We had a good time celebrating.
I love the pick, by the way. For those that saw it, we can leave it at that. But that was a great.
Yeah, it was a great night. It was great to hang out with that lovely, beautiful bucket.
Yeah. What did it say to the team rebounding the way they did, because they go ahead in that first overtime for the first time? Their first lead of the game was weird. It was after regulation. So describe the kind of the flip of the switch. What went into that finishing strong, do you think?
I just don't think anybody wavered. You know, I told Nate today, like, you know what, from Wednesday on, the way we were practicing, knowing the matchups, I knew we were going to win this game. Never would have drawn it up quite the way it played out. But, you know, I really felt good about everything. I felt like, hey, this is a time we've got this. And then, you know, to have the great individual performances to make it happen, and especially speaking to the first quarter and the second quarter, JT throwing the ball so well, stepping out of trouble, moving the sticks, and then the great ball he threw up to Luke and the incredible catch. I mean, you know, Luke with 2 touchdowns. Freshman Dalen Alexander having 3 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion, 3 of those things coming in overtime. I mean, there was just so many good performances. But to answer your question, like, you know, we're just gritty, man, and that's how we're built. That's how we train, and that's what we talk about is the ability to finish. And, you know, that example in overtime, that's that Rice stuff. That's what we've built, and these kids believe in it, and that's what's awesome.
Yeah, JT, for those that somehow did not hear, tied a career high 401 yards passing. They obviously did a lot to adjust, but the things he was doing, we don't see quarterbacks at any level do. And even the sidearm flip he had there, he had the long pass to Giovanni, 18 yards, I think, at that time. So discuss JT, how he really paced y'all for much of that game.
He did. And, again, I really don't believe that's the best we'll see JT play. But to have the 6th most yards in Rice history, to be the American Conference player, the Offensive Player of the Year, to be in the Davey O'Brien top 8 of the week, like he's getting recognized for it, and I think that's really cool. But again, like there's just so much more JT can do. Like we've seen him all camp do these things. We're not surprised when he does them. To be honest, I'm more surprised when he doesn't, and when he makes an error or has a throw that's not exactly where he wants it, because his ball placement and his arm talent's pretty elite.
Dalen Alexander, you mentioned him, the true freshman. Now 3 of his 7 carries have gone for touchdowns. He's developed into that short yardage guy. Tell us a little bit about him, Austin area kid, and just how he's early, but he's carving out a niche here these first couple games.
He sure is. You know, a true freshman from Pflugerville. Never in my life have I had a freshman be the short yardage and goal line back. But he told the story the other day, and it's so true. We had a scrimmage where we were going to get the opportunity to run our short yardage and goal line drill again, and Dean and Juma were cramping, you know, because it was Houston hot, and so he was kind of the next man up, and he got a chance to take reps with the 1s and the 2s, and he scored on every single opportunity. And if we're going to be a meritocracy, if we're going to be what I talk about, where everything in our program is earned, I had to give him that opportunity. And he went to Austin, Texas, and didn't miss a beat going against that great team, and then comes home. And how many carries did he have? Six, I guess.
Yeah, half of his carries that game were for touchdowns.
And he actually had, I think, 7, counting the overtime. So, I mean, he's just doing some big-time things, putting the team on his back, running behind his pads. He had one freshman moment where he kind of jumped when he probably shouldn't have and got returned to sender on one, but he learned his lesson and kept his pads down and scored on those others.
You scored on each of your first possessions this season at Texas and at home against U of H. How big is that? And then you get the turnover on each of your first 2 opponents' possession. Your forced turnover on downs, and then you got the pick. Yeah, that was the pick, right, on their first drive. Trayshawn was diving into the sideline there.
Yeah, I think you go back to Texas, and I don't know how much credit we want to give the offense for that, right? The defense got the 4th down stop, and we were really low in the red zone and probably could have made the field goal from there, but did put a first down together and got those 3 points. But when you talk about what this offense did the other day, and that's really cool to me, right? Yeah, to put that plan together, have 21 points in the first quarter against a Big 12 opponent, that's pretty fun. But the things we needed to work on coming out of Austin is we needed to start fast offensively. And we had 5 drives in the first half. 4 of them were touchdowns, and one of them we got to the 9-yard line and made an error, right? So we're starting fast. We're doing those things. On defense, the big thing we were challenging them with is trusting their coaching, and also we need to play well in the third quarter. We need to come out of the locker room when we threw a third quarter shutout. So that was really good to see. Now, we need to find a way to do that for 60 minutes. That's now the challenge. Hey, we've proved we can do it in this quarter, in this quarter, in this quarter. Now let's just do the whole dadgum game and see how good we can be.
How about the defense? Speak to them. You're credited with 3 sacks each of the first 2 games, 14 behind the line of scrimmage. So what's Brian Smith and a couple defenders that caught your eye in that Cougars game?
Yeah, so the defensive player of the week this week was Coleman Coco. And what a great addition he's been. Those 2 sacks, which came on critical downs, just whipping the guy in front of him, and got chipped by a back too, and still found a way to the quarterback on the first one on the third and 10, I believe it was. And just big time plays. And all those guys are getting after the passer. Piercy, and you know what's really interesting is you go back to what those guys did in Austin. And to have those 3 sacks, and like you and I talked about, really kind of a fourth that they said he got back to the line of scrimmage, whatever. But Bama didn't have any.
Oh, wow.
Bama didn't have any against Texas. So, again, it's not like that offensive line's trash. They're a very good offensive line, and our guys are just playing with such a great high motor. And I do think Coach Smith is doing a great job drawing up those schemes, and Coach Sid is certainly pushing them to through and beyond their limits and getting some good play out of those guys.
You mentioned Trayshawn, not only that pick, but how about him stepping in with Dunbar out? And you told me before, I think it was you, that he had a fantastic camp and kind of the rehab year last year coming off the injury from the year before. So tell us about Trayshawn and how that secondary has kind of gelled.
Yeah, we always talk about how rush and coverage work together, right? And so that was a great example. You had Isaiah Floyd putting pressure on the quarterback. I believe the ball kind of fluttered out. But Trady going and diving and making that catch and making sure he kept a foot in bounds was a big-time play. Then he also had a 4th down PBU. So he really had 2 turnovers that he was responsible for in that game. So that was awesome to see him. He's somebody we certainly have trusted through the years, and it's great just to see him back at full speed.
Mm-hmm. All right, our featured assistants here tonight. First up, Mike Kershaw. Tell us a little bit about him and his receiving corps.
Well, I go back with Coach Kershaw to Delta State in 2005 was our first year together, and we had a lot of success in a very different offense, where it was more looking like a Mike Leach offense, and we were throwing the ball all over the field. And he coached quarterbacks and receivers at that time, and so I knew he could do either. But both of these guys are day one guys. They were on our staff from the second we got here, and you've just seen Coach Kershaw grow that room, and you see those young guys continuing to come along to take a guy like Landon Ransom and have it be the true freshman to start at a skill position since 2006. And see the growth we're getting out of those guys. You got guys like Luke McCaffrey. I mean, Luke McCaffrey's probably going to be good no matter who coaches him. I could probably have my dog coach him and he'd be fine. But you know what? There are guys that are getting better and better every day in that room, and that's what Mike's doing a great job of.
The auctioned puppy, I forget.
The auctioned puppy, yeah.
Okay.
I probably would put Bear Bryant coaching the room before I put Sammy the Owl coaching that room.
Okay.
So of my 2 dogs, I'd choose Bear. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
I got you. And talk about Hans here and the impact he's made. Hans and I have talked a lot about off mic and at practice and such, just about how each year the team continues to have more of your identity, and this year no different.
Yeah, I think that's really cool when you talk about it. And I think everybody thinks of the strength coach as the guy that's going to go in there and load up the weights on the bar. But the reality is your strength coach touches these kids and talks to these kids more than anybody else in the program. When all these assistants are on the road recruiting, Hans is there. He's constantly, him and his staff, him and Zach Warren in particular, are constantly in their ears. And so they have a chance to really advance the message and, like you said, the mentality we want. So when you talk about finding a way to finish in overtime, that's all the finishing we've been talking about. That's all the mindset we've been talking about. So, again, yes, we're stronger. We're in better shape. We're physically healthier than we've ever been, and those are all things that are a testament to Hans, but the mindset's a big part as well.
So you referenced some of this earlier. We have a big Monday Night Football game eventually tonight. I think we got some Gladiators up here now. We'll get that big game on for Coach's Jets, but any 9/11 memories from back then, or did that predate you being at the Jets?
So it did predate me being there. I was actually a graduate assistant at the University of Alabama at the time, and I stepped into our video office because it was the only room that had a TV in the building with cable. And right when I stepped in, there was a scout from the New York Jets in there, and we watched the second tower get hit together. And I was just like, man, do you have family there? And for whatever reason, that became our bond. And the guy's name is Mike Davis, and he would come by when I was at Catawba College. He'd come by when I was at Delta State. I'd always see him at the Senior Bowl. And he'd introduce me to all kinds of people. And he's the one that called me after I had already accepted a position at Texas A&M, called me at 6 a.m. in the morning. It was like, how old are you? And I felt like it was in a bar at 2 a.m. It's like, what do you want my name to be? How old do you want me to be? So I was like, look, I'm 29. I'm turning 30 next month. And he goes, okay, I'm going to tell him, but you're married. He might not hire you. I was like, dude, I'm going to be married. Okay, that's probably going to stay the case. And I have a kid, but it doesn't change anything. So I went up there and interviewed, and he stood on the table for me, and that's how I got my opportunity with the Jets.
Wow. I didn't know that other layer to it.
Yes, sir.
That's insane. What a small world, but one just a tragic, senseless event that brings everything together.
Indeed.
Hey, Coach, thanks. And we'll be back later on, talk about TSU, and appreciate it.
Let's do it.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
the
sir.
one and the only, last time I'll say it, On 3 National Coach of the Week, Dunleavy Family Head Football Coach It's Mike Bloomgren. We're on the stream, by the way, too. YouTube, Facebook. Hi, folks. Got some folks watching it. Stay tuned. Coming up next, number 10, Luke McCaffrey will join us here. Coming up next here at the High Table Acme Oyster House. It's Rice football from Learfield.
Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment. 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling, the official beer partner of Rice Athletics, and now available for purchase everywhere in Texas. The Yingling Company, Fort Worth, Texas. Please enjoy responsibly.
The passion.
He's going to take it to the house. Dinner's cooking. Touchdown.
The fury.
Getting blitzed. Down he goes.
The speed.
By 40, there he goes. Down the sideline.
Mr. College Football.
Toward the end zone. Got it for 6 points. You cannot hitch the wagon. Put the ponies in the barn. Back to the end zone. 30, 20.
This is the College Football Blitz. Listen all season long on College Sports Now on the Varsity Network.
Whether running a marathon or walking your dog, every movement matters. But when you're in pain, simple activities can feel unbearable. At Houston Methodist Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, our specialists can help you heal faster using the latest technology, minimally invasive procedures, and advanced physical therapy. As the top-ranked hospital in Texas, we have the expertise to keep you moving and help you get back to doing the things you love. Houston Methodist, leading medicine.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup for the 2023-24 college athletics season? You can follow the standings of your favorite school or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. That's thedirectorscup.com and L Directors Cup on Twitter. Trophies will be awarded in June 2024 to the winning institutions in all competitive divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Rice teams and traditions are legendary. Our team as strategic wealth designers are proud to be a partner of Rice Athletics. What an honor to be working together. When you're ready to discuss your financial future, call the team the Owls trust. We look forward to creating your winning strategy for retirement. Visit us at swdgroup.com today and go Owls.
This is the Mike Bloomgren Show, live at Acme Oyster House. Here again, the voice of the Owls, J.P. Heath.
Back to pass Daniels, looking end zone left side, going to McCaffrey, one-handed catch in the end zone. He lost his helmet. The best catch of his career. He hauls it in, touchdown, Rice Owls. I can't believe what we just saw. McCaffrey, 32-yard touchdown catch, one-handed. I know that guy. It is number 10 here, Luke McCaffrey of our Rice Owls. One hand, two hands, you know. When did you know? Obviously, it's instinctual. You're an amazing athlete, all that, blah, blah, blah. But when did you kind of know? Because the guy, I guess it was, I forget who it was that stepped in front of you. You go out there. And was that, in fact, like the goober just talking there said, was that your best catch, you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, when you're on the field, you kind of black out a little bit. Everything's a blur until you watch it on tape. And so I wasn't even quite sure what happened, but I knew we'd practice that exactly like that a couple times that week. And so we were prepared for when that came up.
Maybe it was your helmet coming off, but was that the most excited you've been? Because you're obviously an emotional guy and you get into the moment and celebrate touchdowns, but that seemed like above others, maybe against who it was against, that one meant a lot to you there.
Definitely. I think this game for me was very, very special just because when I first got here, my first start was against Houston, and it wasn't the prettiest day for me. It was pretty rough. My first game starting as a quarterback, and so to see how much has changed and how much growth that I've had, that this program has had, and the people who've come and gone, it was pretty cool and pretty special to see that growth.
Yeah. Describe the pandemonium after the game. I'm describing it from the big high view, but being down there, the emotions that come with that.
Oh, that's a blast. That's one of the big reasons you play the game, right? You got to fall in love with the process, but you got to enjoy the outcome. And then that's one where you get this special opportunity to celebrate with the guys that you've been working with since January.
Yeah. What was the first time you remember meeting Coach Bloomgren? I meant to ask him the return to that, so when he comes back up, I'll ask him. But there's obviously a unique backstory, him coaching your brother. But do we have wee little Luke? Or
Yeah. So I remember watching him at all at Stanford, all at the practices they have there. I'd go up there for my brother as well as my dad as an alumni there. And so just watching the games, watching the practices, and seeing all the coaches on the field.
Mm-hmm. And when you transferred to Rice a couple years back, how much easier was that having that knowledge? And obviously, I'm assuming he was mainly that impetus for doing that, right?
Yeah, that relationship's what brought me here 100%. Just the knowledge and the relationship that he'd built with me and the people that I trust. And that goes so long in this business because you don't always see that. And so to have an opportunity for that, to have something that you already have sort of a base with, someone that you have a base with, it makes it so easy to make those decisions, and it makes it worth it in the end because you're playing for something more than yourself.
Mm-hmm. Now that you've had 2 years at wide receiver, is it easier now, or was it easier? Nothing's easy, I know, in this game, but was it a smoother transition towards the end of last year? When did you get your sea legs at wideout? Because watching you now, I think people in here would agree that you would never know that that's a guy playing his second full year at the collegiate level at that position.
Yeah, it's a cool growth because in our room we're always preaching getting better, and we're always preaching chasing perfection. And so as you get better, you start looking for new things to improve. You start looking for the areas that you can keep growing further. And so Coach Kershaw gets all of us on the right page and on the right steps to moving forward. And that room and that atmosphere is what you hope for as a player, as somebody who's chasing something. And so as it feels a little bit better, it's always going to be that perfect chase for a complete game.
And if I'm remembering what you had said, I think you told me at media day, you hadn't played wide receiver since, playing catch with big brother and dad and relatives in the front yard, right?
Yeah, for sure. I've been using some special packages, but nothing crazy.
Yeah. Discuss the rest of the unit, because you're obviously a lot of that focus, but how you've got the mix of some young guys and some transfers coming in.
Oh, it's been so cool to see everybody's growth and everybody's, taking advantage of the moment. So a guy like Braylon Walker, who's come out, I think he was our leading receiver in game one and close to it in this game. And to see somebody like that who's really come to his own and I think has a ceiling much higher than he's already been playing at is really cool. So I'm excited to see Braylon continue his growth, and it's been so cool to watch him make the most of every opportunity he's had and to continue to learn some of the things that you'll have with experience. Along with that, you have Landon Ransom, who I think we've all heard about, the true freshman starting, and the true freshman who's, again, done that same thing, made the most of a lot of opportunities he's had. And then you have Giovanni Johnson and some other guys who have been banged up with Tyson Thompson and Matt Sykes, who hopefully can get on the field healthy here soon. But to watch that along with Rawson McNeil, who came in, had his first catch last game for an explosive play, is really cool. And I think that's where our unit is, right? We're not perfect yet. We're not to where we want to be, but when we get the opportunity, we make explosive plays, and I think that showed last game, and I think it's going to hopefully grow to what we want.
Mm-hmm. You were voted captain. It was announced right before the season started. What did that mean? A group of captains that you're with that had to be special.
Yeah, I think you hear a lot of people talk about it, but it's always true that's the best honor you can ever receive because it's voted for by the guys that you go to work with, that you battle with every day. And so it's nothing but an honor, and it's so special to be up there with the other 6 guys who deserve it so much. Just guys who bring so much energy, so much focus, and so much leadership to our team.
What's the funniest smack talk you had from an opposing player in a game? This could be high school, quarterback. I'm sure you get a different kind than as a wideout. Anything that stuck with you or not?
I get a lot of smack talk about my brother, which I think's funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A lot of people talking about how, you won't be him or something like that. And I'm like, oh,
dang it.
Yeah, you won't either, right? He's pretty dang good.
That's cold. That's mean. I guess trash talk in itself.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah. Quick comeback. You're used to all comeback. Is he on your fantasy team?
He's actually not. No way. This is the first year I've played fantasy in a couple of years, and I went against him this week. And Oh, I wish I wasn't. It's hard, though, because it's a win-win, right? I'm always rooting for him. So
Yeah.
Didn't even mind. I was smiling while my team's losing.
Yeah, it all comes out in the wash, right?
Yeah.
Degree, or what are you studying?
So I'm getting an MBA right now at Rice, which is awesome.
Okay. And obviously you could be playing this game a long time. That's the hope. But anything that's struck you around the Rice campus, say, hey, I like what I studied here and want to continue doing that whenever that day is over.
Yeah, it's so special to be on a campus with so many high achievers, to be in an environment with people who are successful in every single field. For me, I love sports. I think it'd be hard for me to get out of the realm of football, but I was special and lucky enough to have an internship with the Athenian Group, a consulting firm, this summer. And that was awesome. I loved that field. I loved the environment of that workforce, but I love sports. I think it'd be hard to not coach one day.
Yeah, I mean, you're obviously on a different side of it, but when you can get paid for being around the game, that's what it's about. How is Dad? For those that don't know, your dad also a long time in the game, and growing up with that type of tutelage. I know it's always been the same for you, but when you look back at it as you get older, has that been? I mean, obviously a common source of, hey, we're doing this here, because he Super Bowl winning wide receiver. So
yeah. No, it's so amazing to have him as